to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all ships at sea, cars and trucks up and down Interstate 5, the author, the apologist, the radio and TV host, the legend in his own mind, the executive director of Fortis Institute, the host of Wretched TV and radio, the author of 5 books, and the producer of 24 Bible studies. Here's Todd.
That was like Pauline in its length. You talk about a run-on sentence. Paul's got competition in you. Well done.
Well, you know, and that was just the beginning. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
How are things in the corner of the country that we all talk about?
Well, okay. And that is?
No, I just typically when we see zany news, it's like it's going to be Los Angeles.
There you go.
Washington, or Oregon. Yeah.
So, you know, before I get into this other topic, what do you think's going on down there? I mean, we see anarchy, lawlessness. What's the Todd Friel take?
Well, I want to make sure that I'm Christian in my response, because I know how I tend to respond as American, but I want to put that on the back burner until I figure out, well, does the Bible give us any sort of leading on how we should be viewing these people? And there's a number of complexities, not the least of which is the criminal activity that's taking place. But what should be the Christian mindset about people who enter our country? Now, I think we would all agree, come in legally, and we're like, thumbs up. We're happy to welcome people who want to be there, but there are other people who come in illegally. And there's other issues that the Bible brings forward that I think are important for us to remember. And the key word, I believe, is assimilation. Perry, prepare to repeat after me. We are going to learn some Hebrew together. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Repeat after me. Say.
Repeat after me.
No.
Well.
Yeah. Laurel and Hardy called. They want their routine back. All right. Gur. Say gur.
Gur.
Congratulations. You just used the Hebrew word for sojourner. These are individuals who would come into the country, or perhaps they were even born into the country, who assimilated. They became Jewish. They adopted the culture. Think Ruth as an example. Think Rahab as an example. These were foreigners who said, no, we believe in Yahweh. We want to be a part. This is our nation. This is our God. And the Bible says you welcome those folks. And in the Old Testament, those people had rights. So think of those individuals. The Ger sojourners of the Old Testament are people who were legal citizens of the nation. However, you've got another Hebrew word. Are you ready, Perry?
Okay.
Don't you just repeat after me. Nar.
Nar.
All right. Those are individuals who don't assimilate, not fully. These are individuals who do not have the same rights as the aforementioned Gers. They had some rights. They wouldn't be abused, but they wouldn't have inheritance rights. They wouldn't have land rights, business dealings, etc. Now, they were peaceful individuals, but there were 2 tiers. There were the Gers and there were the Nars. And so these people on the bottom, if you want to use an American comparison, think green card. They're here, but they don't have all of the rights and privileges. Now, you've got the issue, however, of assimilation. And here's where it does get a little bit tricky, because the United States isn't Israel. We're under a different covenant. We're in a different zip code. Nevertheless, we see principles of assimilation, that if people are willing to be a part of the society, they can stay as they contribute to the culture. But if they war against it, well, those people were driven out. And I'm not just talking about the purification of the land because of the Abrahamic covenant. I'm just saying you can't have people who aren't willing to participate in this economy and this culture. And so from the nation of Israel, we can't create an American immigration policy, but we do have principles. Those who want to be here and become a part of contributing to our culture and society, we would say, hey, we should welcome these people as we can. Those who don't want to fully adopt it, well, then they can be here and we can not offer them all the rights and privileges. But if you're not participating and if you're warring against what this is, well, then I'm very sorry. You can't be here because it causes anarchy. So now, with all of that as a backdrop, let's go to Los Angeles. I know that the mainstream media calls these peaceful protests, but I'm seeing a lot of private property set on fire. And I'm also seeing individuals carrying flags from foreign nations. It has all the signs of saying there are people in our midst who don't want to grr. It doesn't even appear that they want to gnar. It appears that they perhaps want the benefits without the assimilation. So from my standpoint, without commenting on borders and walls, immigration policies, babies that are born here, none of that, just looking at Los Angeles, I would say, the government has every right to say, you got to go.
Okay, because there's a couple things here. Those that they're deporting that started all this are really bad people. They kill, they murder, they rape.
You know, okay, so here's immediately, though, what people are thinking about you, Perry. Hey, there are some nice people. They wanted to get away. They work hard. Okay, let's keep our categories clear. The people that you're describing, Perry, the Bible is clear. The government has every, I think, right and even responsibility to not have those people in the culture corrupting it if they're not willing to assimilate. So you look like a big meanie, but I think we have biblical support to say that's just not the way a nation can survive and thrive.
Yeah. Well, a lot to be played out there. We'll have to watch how this goes out. It's kind of interesting. We could talk about it all day, but I do want to lean on your...
Could I add one more thing before you jump to whatever you're leaning on right now?
Yeah, I'm leaning,
right,
but I'll stop leaning.
All of the stuff that I said, yeah, and definitely don't lean to the left, Perry. We don't need you leaning to the left. All of the verses that I was talking about in Exodus and Leviticus and Deuteronomy about the issue of nars and gurs, and Judges and Joshua, it's there also. That feeds our intellect. It tells us, all right, what are the principles here? But there are a lot of verses that actually go after our heart. And those are the verses that tell the Jewish people, again, U.S. isn't Israel, but tell the Jewish people, hey, you used to be sojourners too. You were aliens and strangers, so have a heart. Be compassionate. Do what you can to help people because you used to be just like them. So the Old Testament presents me not just with principles and potential rules that we can create, but also it addresses my heart. When it comes to criminals and drug dealers, that should be a no-brainer. I know it's not for a lot of people these days. That should be a no-brainer. For these other folks that want to be here, that want to be assimilating, that are hardworking, our heart should beat more toward, hey, we'd love to have you here if we possibly can, because the Bible informs us there's got to be laws, there's got to be rules, there's got to be assimilation. But our heart, as we even talk about these issues, probably needs to be more tender than the current political climate when discussing these subjects.
Okay, let me take a break. I got an airplane starting up behind me. Let me take a quick break. We'll be right back with Todd in just a moment. Hold on here. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully I can do this. I got an airplane out behind me here to Todd, and sorry about that.
On.
Well, we're at an airport, and we're remodeling our building to get away from that very problem right there. We're not quite through with the project yet.
Do you get lawnmowers too? Is that an issue for you?
Lawnmowers. Stick around, helicopters. I mean, it's good.
Trains, planes, and automobiles.
Oh, yeah, that's us. Hey, listen, there seems to be a lot of shaking going on within the church community globally, especially in the United States. We're seeing a lot of ministries being exposed, and I don't want to go down that road being super negative, but I think there is something's going on where the judgment is starting first in the house of the Lord, and it is also splitting conservative evangelicals. And I'm just wondering, is this God, or is this divide and conquer by the devil?
Well, we need to define our terms here. Is there ever a time for division? Absolutely. Mark those which cause division and avoid them. Paul also made it clear that there needs to be some type of division to the Corinthians so that we know who's true and who's false. Having said that, the entire book of First Corinthians is dedicated to stop being divided. In other words, stop being so sectarian. I'm of Paul, I'm of Apollos. Jesus prayed, John 17, for our unity. And so we desire unity where we have the essentials squared. Where we don't have the essentials, there must be division. Unfortunately, what we have been seeing, and you're rightly observing, Perry, is inside of this group of folks who are square on the essentials, if we do not align on every jot and tittle with the same level of intensity as I believe that particular issue, you're out of here. So, Perry, let me give you an example of how ridiculous it has become here. And let's just see if you and I can have fellowship in this current climate. Perry, in church, which do you think are more biblical, pews or individual chairs? Pews or individual chairs?
Well, how about the Orthodox where they stand?
You just refuse to play with me. Okay, fine. Standing, pews, or chairs? Which side are you on, Perry?
I'm on the side where the Spirit flows.
Okay. You're not going to give it up for me because whatever you would have said, if I didn't agree, we would have to part company.
Yeah,
it has become almost that ridiculous. And it's almost always, Perry, it's less on theological issues, although there's a lot of that, but it's more on political, social, and cultural issues. The climate, the temperature in our country politically, it is so hot. We're all at 211. It's like, come on, get me that evidence on Biden so that hey, he fell down the stairs too. Whatever. We're just like right on the edge. We want to just have a great big gotcha and aha because it's so weird out there. The worldviews that are in competition are just bizarre. Frankly, a lot of it is just plain demonic. Nevertheless, as a Christian, I've got to be careful that I identify if this is a cultural and social issue. Am I really willing to divide with a brother who doesn't see, for instance, the big, beautiful bill? It increased spending. Okay, I don't think that's good. I don't think a government should operate that way. But if you think, hey, you understand economics, you understand tariffs and trade, and you've just got a different view on it, we're seeing Christians dividing over something like that. And I can't even find that anywhere in theological triage. It's not an essential. It's not secondary. It's not tertiary. It's like way out here. It doesn't mean the Bible doesn't inform on it. But if we've got a difference of opinion on some of these issues, we got to be careful that we stop this factiousness and this dividing over everything. Perry, I know you're familiar with this term. You've got issues closed-fisted. These are the essentials of the faith. This is believing in Jesus Christ, grace alone, faith alone, revealed in the Bible alone. In other words, the five solas. Don't mess with. We can't have fellowship. These are closed-handed issues. But you got open-handed issues. You've got things where we can disagree. And for a while in conservative circles, we were doing well. For instance, case in point, John MacArthur, believer's baptism. R.C. Sproul, pedo baptism. Did they fight? No. Did they talk about the issue? Yeah. Did they even debate the issue? Yeah. Did they divide over the issue? No. These days, it seems that we can't find that zone where we have differences of opinion on secondary and tertiary theological issues and still have unity. And that is something that I actually hope is coming to an end because we have seen historic levels of ridiculous divisions over things that shouldn't divide, and it is weakening the body, and it is robbing all of us of sweet unity that exists when we come together, square on the closed-fisted issues, but charitable on the open-handed issues.
In that division, are we creating a barrier for the seeker to run from?
Well, they see it, they hear it, they watch it. Now, look, that happens with denominationalism. I think a lot of people that aren't believers scratch their heads and say, what is all of that about? I think denominations, the way that I see them, Perry, is it's almost like divorce. God doesn't want it, but it's a concession. Okay, you knuckleheads, you can't get together on pedo and believer's baptism. You can't figure out if it's real presence in, with, and under consubstantiation, transubstantiation. All right, so I'm going to let you guys just separate, but that's not ideal. In heaven, we're not going to have denominations. So it's really by concession, and the world sees it, and they scratch their head. So what I'm hoping can happen is that we identify those who are square on the essentials, and we can have a bigger, correct, biblical, scary word, ecumenism. Want to be careful, not unbiblical ecumenism. I'm talking about where we're square on the essentials. We can actually think, hey, I just might be in heaven with that person and enjoy that person. I might not be able to do church with that person because it's just too hard, even with the issue of baptism. But we will have sweet unity, even as we are in different denominations.
All right, that's well said. Because I think talking to Dr. George Barna recently in all of his research, there seems to be a silent, if I can use the word silent, seeking revival among young men.
I agree.
And if they look at the church and they see this bickering going on even over the essentials, are we dropping the ball and the opportunity to teach them the essentials because we're arguing over them?
Yeah, well, but Perry, what my contention is, we're not even really arguing over essentials. There's really no argument. You either do or you don't. I'm talking about a laundry list of issues where we can have a difference of opinion. And by the way, George Barna is spot on with this. We're seeing this. It's not just social influencers. We're seeing it on campuses. By the way, Perry, very exciting. We're going to start invading campuses. This fall, we're going to do 4 campus events. And then next spring, we're going to try to do 9, and then 9 more in the fall, where we go to the campuses, because I am telling you, we do not need to go there to destroy that liberal university student and make a YouTube video over it, because so many of these kids, they're hurting, they're broken, they're confused, they're lonely, things just aren't right out there. Somebody please do me better than Andrew Tate when it comes to being a man. Help me sort this out. So we're going to go to campuses because there is a great openness. And my plea with churches, if you are within walking distance of a university, I plead with you, get to that campus. The kids want to talk. You will maybe run into 1 out of, say, 100. That's not a George Barna statistic, but it's 1 out of 100 are going to go, nah, go away, Christian. Okay, we can handle that. Most of the kids are desperate to talk, and we have something to say. We just need to go speak it.
So do you think there is a silent revival happening?
Yeah, well, there's interest. There's greater interest. And my if I could be negative for a moment, my concern about the interest, it's kicked off with a right observation. People, it seems, used to be happier. So let's say you got a 20-year-old and their 40, 45-year-old, 50-year-old parents talk about the good old days. They're looking at it and going, well, where are they? What happened? And they're coming to a right conclusion. It used to be more Christian. The principles of the Bible being applied to society, whether people believed in Jesus or not, did us better. Maybe we should reconsider those. So that's where the starting place is. But we want to make sure that we don't present Christianity as a system that will enhance your life. Christianity needs to be something that is not just practice for principles and ideals and life hacks. It is to be believed in. And that's where the transformation comes from. So I think that they're observing something's different. It seems Christianity used to be better for us. I'm willing to examine it. And you know what? I'm willing to say I'm happy for that attitude. Now we need to speak it to them.
One other quick question before I run out of time. So in that process, do you think that we have talked so much that we have closed the door on the transcendence of God?
Oh, here's another one, though, Perry. We have left out the transcendence, but simultaneously, do you know what else a big group of us have kind of pushed to the sideline because of the abuse? The love of God. The Christianity, we are the love religion. God is love. That's like an equal sign. God is love. Jesus died because God so loved the world. In this is love, not that we love God, but that he loved us and he gave his son as the propitiation. We are the religion of love. So I think you're right. I think some of us are missing out on the transcendence. We're treating God like he's a groovy, cool dude or maybe a boyfriend. On the other hand, you've got people who are reticent to say, God is actually, nice and he loves to save sinners. So we just got to, it's always a tenuous walk, but we've got to get on the theological horse and not fall to the left or to the right.
Hey, good to see you, buddy. How's everything going?
So excited around here, Perry. I'm telling you, this campus initiative, hey, shout out. If you want us to come to your campus, we don't even charge you for it. We'll come on our own dime. You get a hold of Dalton at fortisinstitute.org, and he'll send you stuff because we are going to start going to campuses in a big, impactful way. That's just one of our new initiatives here, Perry.
That's good. Well, the work of your organization is amazing. By the way, you can go to fortisinstitute.org. That's the parent company to all the things that he's doing. They're the parent ministries, and there is a host of things that they're involved in. It's really transformed. I remember when he was just a little guy pounding away on a radio station.
It's been 25 years, Perry. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary here.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll see you this fall.
I want more than anything else? I just want to get to the finish line without tripping and going splat. That's all I want.
I hear you loud and clear. And I'll see you this fall, although it might be 3 minutes. I'll see you this fall.
Yeah, maybe.
No. Good to see you, pal. God bless you. Take care.
Love you guys at the Dove.
Okay.